but I said Green Bay doesn't win 8 games.
I think Kansas City is maybe the 4th best team.
All right, let's talk about a Purdue coach talking about George Karlaftis and his fit with the Chiefs, David Carr's horrible takes. I mean, they are atrocious. Colin Cowherd losing his mind and much more. But first, how about those? What's up, guys? My name is Cole, and I do daily news about the Chiefs and the NFL overall. So hey, sub if you're new, hit that like button if you think the Chiefs are already being overlooked this year. And let's get into this news, starting with some social media photos and vids from Chiefs players out and about and all that good stuff. Juan Thornhill, after asking for golf lessons a couple months ago, is going after it, working on his chip shots or whatever they're called. Sky Moore could be seen out at an LAFC soccer game, which was pretty cool to see. And then you had Lonnie Johnson Jr., Justin Reed, Juan Thornhill, and others out together bowling. Justin Reed's outfit, not gonna lie here, guys, it's pretty fire. I could never rock something like that. I lack the confidence. But guess what?
Guess who the best bowler was for the Kansas City Chiefs? Wahoo, baby. Wahoo, baby.
Speaking of Chris's, you have Chris Jones out here training and slapping these things around as if they are merely drunk guys at the bar who are in his way as he's trying to leave. He's even throwing some elbows for good measure, and you definitely love to see that. Then you can't forget about Kelsey out there on the microphone telling the fans of Buffalo, New York that their flight is about to land in approximately 13 seconds. And here's something you need in your life, like right now. Kelsey out there dancing with Gronk with their hands in the air as if they just don't care. Gronk and Kelsey, a combo I'd honestly love to see out on the field together. Sadly, I know that will never happen, but one can dream. And then, why'd I just fake cry there? That was weird. And then David Carr is back in the news for his wonderfully educated takes. And no, I'm not talking about the time where back in September of 2021, he explained in detail his case for why the Raiders were going to win the Super Bowl back in February. How'd that work out for you, bud? No, I'm talking about something as recent as yesterday where he said,
But I don't know. I mean, I look at it and I go, this is not a 13-win team. I said the other day, I'm like, and this might get me in trouble, but I said Green Bay doesn't win 8 games.
And his justification is basically because now that Davante Adams is with the best team in the history of the entire NFL, aka the Raiders, because David Carr is so blinded with bias by his brother that he is basically Ray Charles. He thinks that the Packers will not win more than 8 games, even though they have the back-to-back league MVP Aaron Rodgers. I'm confused here, guys. I don't think David understands, even though he's played the position, how important a great quarterback is for a team. I mean, this is stuff I'd expect to hear some guy named Gene say at the local bar after having about 15 shots too many. But nope, we have to hear this from a former NFL QB who played in the league for 10 years. And since we're on the subject of top-tier QBs like obviously Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, I can't forget to mention that David Carr, like his brother Derek, is not one of them. David Carr is listed as one of the worst first-round draft picks in history, even though he eventually got a Super Bowl ring back in 2012 for sitting on the bench while Eli Manning did all the work for him. But hey, that's something, so good job, David. And then Purdue coach, co-defensive coordinator Mark Hagan sat down for an interview recently with Fansided to talk about the newly drafted edge, George Karlaftis, the Greek freak himself. And here's some of what he had to say about George and what the Chiefs are getting with him. He's a throwback. He loves to train and he loves to practice. He's a true worker, whereas some guys who are really talented don't like to do those things. If I'm an organization or a fan, that's what you really want, right? Obviously, you want guys with a lot of talent, but you also want guys who will come in and put in that work. You'll get that from George. He then said KC is getting a guy who is going to have the right approach to the situation. He loves football and wants to be the very best he can be, so he's going to be a sponge, like SpongeBob, for his coaches and teammates in the locker room. He's going to show up every day with his lunch pail. That's what the man said. Well, now I am hungry. He's going to do everything in his power to help the defense get off the field and get the ball back to Patrick Mahomes and that high-powered offense. And you love to hear that because I love when Patrick Mahomes and the high-powered offense have said ball. He goes on to talk about that when you look at Karlaftis' stats on paper, nothing crazy jumps out at you like the lady from, a scary movie or something, but he's disruptive. He's had 11 or 12 tackles for loss and 5 sacks last season, and, quote, those are pedestrian numbers on the surface, but if you watch all 12 games he played in, he impacted every game, and it wasn't necessarily by sack numbers. He would get to the quarterback off the spot, he'd hit the QB, hurry the QB. This is also when teams were putting a second guy on him, and sometimes a third, game in and game out. Wow. He then said Karlaftis had adjusted his approach coming into the new year in order to respond to scouts and others who said he lacked a, quote, speed component to his game. Coach said this, coming into the season, George wanted to prove he had a speed component to him. Speed like the movie with Keanu Reeves before he was Neo. Anyway, early in the season, he got a little high on his rushes, but he started to correct that as the season went along. Really, he went from speed to power, and he was good with his long arm to make the quarterback uncomfortable again. So yeah, Mark Hagan speaks very highly of Karlaftis and says Chiefs Kingdom is gonna love their newest addition to the D-line, and I do like to hear that a lot. And I'm very excited to see him in action this season for sure. What about you guys? What's your prediction for Karlaftis this year? Is he gonna be the primary starter as edge? What are we gonna do? Let me know in the comments down below. I am excited either way to see him put in that WORK. And then John Breech from CBS Sports gives us 3 reasons why the Chiefs will win the Super Bowl. And this is a rare article these days because most teams are predicting any other team, including the Jaguars, to win the Super Bowl over the Chiefs, it seems, because Tyreek Hill, I guess, was the team. Anyway, he says this. First, Patrick Mahomes. Second, they have Andy Reid. And third, they have been there before. So yeah, Mahomes has scorched the league in multitudes of stats since his start in 2018. Andy Reid has 100 wins with 2 different teams and has been to the conference championship games 4 times in a row with 2 teams. And then, of course, they recently won it all back in 2019. And this is why it's silly when you have people who I respect, not like David Carr, but like Colin Cowherd, saying ridiculous stuff like this.
It sounds crazy to say this, but I don't think Kansas City is one of the best 3 teams. I'm not sure they're one of the best 3 teams in the AFC. I think Buffalo's better. I think Cincinnati beat them twice last year is better. I think Denver's going to be better. I think Kansas City is maybe the 4th best team. I'm not so sure they're significantly better than the Chargers.
What did he just say? You guys heard what I heard, right? I mean, this man is out of his mind. He literally took out his little pea-sized brain from his ear and set it down on his cheap little desk for this take. Let's start with the most ludicrous part, where he actually says, very casually, that he thinks the Broncos are better than the Chiefs. And he says this as casually as you'd say, I don't know, the sky is blue, or gas prices are high, or that David Carr should be fired from his job for his awful takes. Listen, the Broncos have lost to the Chiefs as many times in a row as seconds that were left on the clock during Mahomes and company's Grim Reaper-like drive in the divisional round of the playoffs. Yeah, that's right, 13 times. 13 times. I mean, Pat Bowlen, the Broncos' previous owner, literally gave Mahomes majority ownership in the Broncos because he is their father, and DNA tests do not lie.
You are the father.
Seriously, though, I know they brought in Russell Wilson. They say it like every day. I honestly do love the guy. I watched him for years on the Seahawks, and he was one of my favorites, although now he is no longer a favorite of mine, that little sinner. And of course, their defense is pretty solid. They've made some additions, including Randy Gregory, among others, as well as their receiving core is pretty solid as well. Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, among some of the other guys that I don't really care to talk about because I just don't care about the Broncos. So I get it if you want to say things like the Broncos are going to be dangerous this year. The Chiefs' win streak may end against the Broncos. It's going to be tough. But to just outright say, I think Denver is going to be better than the Chiefs is a statement completely removed from reality at this point in time, Colin. And then let's talk about the Buffalo Bills because I still do not understand how the Bills are the favorites. Cowherd himself earlier in this video said the Bills were the best team last season. They just didn't make it to the Super Bowl. Well, yeah, Colin, that's because Mahomes makes them look silly and Josh Allen is merely a bigger-bodied JV version of Mahomes. All right, well, maybe it's not quite that dramatic because the Bills are a great team and I actually do like Josh Allen, but come on, man. The Bills should have 6 L's in their name instead of 2 for the 4 Super Bowl losses they had in a row, as well as the AFC Championship loss to the Chiefs a couple years ago and the divisional loss last year. It makes no sense to me how Team A, the Bills, consistently lose when it matters to Team B, the Chiefs, yet somehow are still listed as better or favorites over the team that keeps beating them. That makes no sense to me. But here's what does make sense to me a little bit more than anything else he said. Listed the Bengals as better than the Chiefs because on paper that makes sense to me. They beat us twice last year after being down 11 points each game at half and winning each game by 3. You can't make this stuff up. Although I do think the Chiefs blew the second half of that AFC Championship game like candles on a birthday cake. I mean, I still, to be honest, have a small form of PTSD from being at the AFC Championship game and watching the Chiefs lose the way that they did. But the Bengals beat us twice, made it to the Super Bowl, so I get that one more than the others. But anyway, back to you, Colin.
You'd think I'm a little anti-Kansas City. Not that the window's closed, but their schedule this year is brutal.
Why, yes, I think you are a little anti-Kansas City. Let's be honest here, bud. And please, do me this small favor. Next time, put your little brain back in your head before doing your cute little takes. Thank you. From here, let's look at some of my favorite comments from yesterday. Jeremy Goad says, Cole, I love when you touch your fingertips together. Just saying. Well, okay then. Gonzo the Beast says, is Andy Reid bringing sexy back? Why, yes. Yes, he is, in fact. A lot of you love the idea of spicy chicken nuggets from Chick-fil-A, except for this guy, Zaruda Reaper, who says Chick-fil-A nuggets are nasty. And to that, I simply say, no, Zaruda Reaper, you are nasty. The Ringer said, I've wanted those spicy nuggets for so long. I'm happy I'm not the only one. Somebody else somewhere, I can't find the comment right now, said that they want spicy chicken strips. To that, I say, yes, please, and amen. For Trey Northside said, spicy nuggets from Chick-fil-A would be legend. Yes, more legend than Zelda. And then Mike Hackett said, love the channel, Cole. Happy I found it around draft time. CFA has spicy nuggets in some regional locations. The greater Chicago area has them on the menu. All right, I'll be right back. See ya. Sadly, I can't go right now because it's like 6 a.m. and I have to work today, but I'm going there soon to try them and I will let y'all know how it is. Then Chris Shelley says, as a Chiefs fan in the UK, it's difficult to get up-to-date news every day. Your YouTube channel is awesome for keeping me in touch with my Chiefs. Man, that's awesome to hear. It's so cool to meet just Chiefs Kingdom all over the globe, hanging out in here, watching. I'm glad I could update y'all on the news and y'all keep watching this bald head bearded man troll people and give y'all news about the Chiefs. I also see a lot of you in the comments are rooting for Josh Gordon. Timothy Bush says Josh Gordon is still that dude. I want him to still harbor that fire in his belly. With all of these finesse receivers, I want a couple dogs in the mix. Kayla and Garrett says, personally, I think Josh Gordon is that dude still. Jeez Louise. He just hasn't had a lot of field time, but if they let him, I think he's going to ball out. I have something in my throat and it's getting very annoying. Bro, love the content. It's on point. Let's go Chiefs. And many others are saying stuff like that, saying Josh Gordon will shine this year as he's had a full offseason to prepare and is truly in proper football shape this go around. Sooner Sasquatch II says, I think Josh Gordon is still a great receiver and has experience to help the new guys succeed. New sub and love your channel, bro. Well, thanks for the freaking support, Sasquatch II. You are the man. I appreciate it a ton. Alistair49 says, I think Josh takes Marquez's spot. All right, bud, let's not get too ahead of ourselves here because MVS is going to be like wide receiver 2 or 3, but hey, one can dream. Many of you are also down to come chill at a game together as well, which was pretty awesome. Kevin Lambert says, I would travel from Indiana to hit up that tailgate with y'all. Go Chiefs. Todd Franklin says, I would love to all tailgate together. And there are more comments that I don't have time for right now that said you would travel from out of state and you would definitely be there. So my question is, how the heck do we figure out what game? How do we get as many people there as possible at once? Should I do like a community poll? I don't know how to go about this. So let me know and let's get it figured out. And then I had like 3 or 4 comments, maybe 5 actually, rebuking me for saying that the guy who got the internal Chiefs promotion should be using an Xbox controller. OTW Wall says, first HBTC, watching you every day makes me want to move back home every day. Keep up the great content. Thanks, bro. And then he said, and he should have a PS5 controller, not Xbox. Yeah, I have both systems. I actually have a PS4 right here by my desk that I primarily play, but Xbox is just the word that came out. I go off script all the time, so please forgive me, guys, okay? Please. Riff BW says, as a fellow bearded man that loves keeping it nice, I have to ask what product you use. I'm a beard care club fan. Their oils are the best I've used. I've never used them. I mainly use products from Scotch Porter and some from Honest Amish, I think is what it is. But yeah, primarily Scotch Porter. Michelle Gregory says, gotta be honest, after watching Microphone Grossi and Flimley for about 2 years while being a Chiefs fan, it is really nice to finally see a Chiefs channel. I definitely put up there with those. Keep up the good work, my dude. Well, sheesh. That means a lot to me. I'm honored to be one of your go-tos. That is cool. Thank you so much. I am still pretty mind blown that I started this channel January 22nd, and I have 12,000 subs. We just crossed it. And I still need to do a live stream celebrating 10,000 sometime soon, though. Maybe this weekend. Maybe. Let me know. Make sure to leave a comment below to potentially be featured in an upcoming video. Sub for more daily news like this. And check out this video here from yesterday where I talk about Josh Gordon going absolutely bananas on Twitter and much more. So until next time, let's go. How about those